Hey everybody, it's Anna. Welcome back to my art channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I have a really special painting video to do for you today. So I'm going to make a tropical triptych today. I'm going to do a coral reef scene with some beautiful peaceful water, and I'm very, very excited about it. So I've done various ocean-themed pours. I've done beach pours. I've done a coral reef chain pull before. But the background was very sort of busy, and it was beautiful, but it was very kind of wild, like turbulent waters, and I want to make one with very peaceful, serene waters. And as an extra special treat, along with the background music, I'm going to have some footage that I took while scuba diving a few years back. I'm an ocean girl. I love to snorkel, I love to scuba dive, I love the coral and all of the sea animals, and so I want to share some of that beauty of that world, which not everyone gets to experience, and I want to have it right there alongside as I'm creating this painting. So I have two sets of colors here. I have sort of my background colors and my coral colors. So my background colors, I have white. This is more of an accent than an main background color. So this is Sargent. All of my paint is mixed with American Floetrol, about 1 part paint to 2 parts Floetrol, and then thinned to a medium thin consistency. So it flows very well off the stick, leaves a little mound. It's not super thin, it's not like a Dutch pour, but it's definitely not a really thick consistency. So then this is my sand color, and it is a custom blend of some tan, which actually was a house paint, and some white and some metallic gold. So it's just this nice kind of pale tan. Then I have Ocean Green from Master's Touch Acrylics. Love this color. I have Caribbean from Apple Barrel. It's not flowing very well, but it will. And then I have Bright Aqua Green from Blick Studio Acrylics. So 3 very similar kind of turquoises here, and I think they're going to blend really nicely. Then my coral colors here, these ones are the ones that I know what they are. These ones over here are more custom colors. So this is Pearlessence by Creative Inspirations. This is Gray Purple by Master's Touch. This is Rouge by Master's Touch. I don't think I'm going to be adding lots of this, but I do want a sort of dark reddish accent color. And then this is a metallic purple. It may be a Craft Smart metallic purple, or it may be a FolkArt metallic purple. I'm not totally sure. And then these other ones, they were like cups of leftover paint that I just kind of mixed around willy-nilly until they were colors that I liked. So this is a nice kind of reddish, orangish, coral, salmon, something or other. And then this is sort of a bright Kelly green. And then this yellow, which started out as lemon yellow and then it got kind of warm. And I added some white to help it be more opaque so it would stand out against the background colors and not go all transparent. Okay, that's all the colors. I have 3 8-inch by 20-inch canvases, which I got from Jerry's Artorama. And I think that's all my details. Let's make a painting. So to create the background, I'm going to be swiping with some palette knives. And I'm just going to start by laying down the colors. And I want that this one's the darkest. I want it to sort of be dark to light going up the top. So this is going to be down here near the bottom. Then the Caribbean is going to be in the middle. And the ocean green is going to be up at the top. And I hope I have enough of these colors. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of the Caribbean up here, sort of so it blends. And I'm going to put it some down here also. Made way too much white. That's okay. So I just have a palette knife. I'll just start over here. Oh, that's pretty. That's very dreamy. It's nice. Love that. Wipe this off here so I can restart back up at the top. I do like moving from light down to darker. Let me torch it. I've got a lot of air bubbles in the paint. This is looking so cool already. It's just really peaceful and beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to add some of this sand color. And again, I'm going to add just a little bit of white so it's not too boring. Awesome. This is looking great. Beautiful background. Let me reset really quick and I will start doing the chain pulls. So I've got some freezer paper down here. Obviously, if you've got a plastic tablecloth, you can just make little puddles of paint directly on the tablecloth, but I'm doing this for a little easier cleanup. Okay, so my coral reef here, I want it to be mostly coming down this side. And then maybe there will be a couple pockets here in the sandy area, and then a smaller rise coming up this way. So I'm going to start here because that's where the main bulk of the coral is. And I have these little chains. They're just like jewelry size ball chains. And that is what I'm going to be using for my chain pulls. Let me start with purple. Purple is always a good coral color. So I'm going to make a little puddle over here. Dip some of my chain into it. You really do not need a lot of chain in the paint. Hardest part is going to be getting it around and not dripping. Okay. So you lay it out, and then you pull it. And I hope I don't have too much paint on here. I do have too much paint on here, but not by much. See, if your layer of base paint is too thick, the chain will slide under it instead of just sort of pulling across it. So this is annoying because I love how that background is. Let me try it again and see if I can get it better. Okay, that's working if I just pull really slow. Let's add a little bit of rouge, why not? Oh, that one is so pretty. Beautiful. How much paint there is there? It's a lot of paint. Let me deal with that for a second. I'm going to put my the chains that are painty into a cup with some water. And I'm just going to pull some of this paint here. I don't want to pull the main design. I love that. But sort of coming on down here, just get off some of the extra paint so that the chain pulls go easier. Let's try this again. Much better. Let's do some Pearlessence next. So the first panel is done. I absolutely love this layered, colorful coral reef. So that's great. I'm going to move on to this side now, which is going to have a much smaller reef. It's going to start like here, but same colors, same basic technique. So let's get to it. Phew! That was a lot of work. I always forget how much time it takes to pull all of those chains. I love this. I love how it's sort of off-center. Now, I thought about adding some little coral elements here in the middle, you know, just like some random pockets. I don't think I'm going to do that just because of how much paint there is on the canvas. I think it's going to be hard to create just a tiny little design. I will be brush painting in a little bit of seagrass there, so it's going to get some interest. And I have some other stencil elements that I want to add when this is dry. So yeah, I love it. Let me give you a close-up. Okay, so first of all, my workstation is an absolute mess, as it always is when I do a chain pull. But let me just show you what those look like close up. Isn't that cool? All those whimsical layers. I can't wait to see the metallic purple and the pearlescence when it's dry and it shimmers. There's just so much motion. It feels like it's lots of sea fans swaying in the waves. And then take a look at the texture of this water too. It's just really dreamy. Got a lot of natural cells and just soft blending of the colors. So soft, my camera can't focus on it. But yeah, here's the other side with those nice corals, peaceful water, and then the sandy bottom. So yeah, I will be tweaking this transition edge right here between the sand and the water. I'll be tweaking that with a brush. I will be adding a few other things, so let's go to that next because there's lots more to come. Okay, we're back. The painting dried beautifully. It's just wonderful. Especially the metallic colors are very shimmery, so that's great. I spent some time today painting some sea grasses down here along portions of the sandy bottom, and you'll get a close-up of those later. But I have a turtle stencil, and I'm going to be putting it right here because I just love sea turtles, and I love that footage of the sea turtles that you saw earlier in the video. So I want to have it here like it's just swimming along looking for a nice juicy patch of seagrass to eat. And I'm doing this in the Olga Sobey stencil style, which is gloss gel first, and then tube paints applied with a palette knife. Now, because I want my turtle to be multicolored, it's going to be a little tricky getting all the sort of textures and colors the way I want them, but I think we can make it work. So start by taping the stencil onto the canvas to hold it in place. I think we'll leave this as the side where I peel it up. So the colors that I'm going to use for my turtle are burnt umber, unbleached titanium, metallic bronze, pearlized dark green, and olive green. So those are the ones I got out. Those were the ones that said, these are turtle colors. So I just have a little paint tray, and I'm going to put some of each of those colors into the tray to make it easier to get small quantities to use on my palette knives. So I'm going to start with the gloss gel. What this does is it helps make some texture, but it also kind of seals between the canvas and the stencil, so you don't have color slipping underneath the lines of the stencil and getting it messed up. So I'm just going to put some on my palette knife and just sort of swipe on a thin layer. Because I want some difference in the colors between the shell and the, the body parts, I want to try to create some differentiation so that I can tell where those areas are and add the colors accordingly. Okay, got a nice thin layer of gloss gel down. Let's add some paint now. So I want this unbleached titanium to be kind of a base color underneath all of the other colors because, yeah, it's just kind of the neutral. So I'm going to start by putting some of that down. Okay, so from this point on, it's going to be tricky because my lines are getting blurred and I need to layer on all these different colors. So let me just try. I'm going to try applying some with a paintbrush to see whether I can kind of add gentle texture on top without really swiping it all off. So I'm going to grab just some of this burnt umber. I like that effect. I'm going to do that on the flippers, the arms and legs, whatever those are called. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Before I get too carried away with the fins, I want to make sure that I get a good pattern on the shell. So for that, I'm going to use my tiny little palette knife. And I do want to start with some of the burnt umber. Nice. That was actually pretty easy to make that nice textured, just kind of splotchy, abstract look. Alright, now I'm going to do the exact same thing all over with a little bit of the metallic copper, because I just want some shiny accents in there. And not just that it's shiny, but it creates depth to the brown. It's not just dark brown. Okay, I think I've finished with the browns and the copper. So now I just want to add a little bit of green here and there. And I want to work fast because I know that gloss gel and paint dries pretty quickly. So I want to get this finished. Let me start with some green on the back of the shell. Just some little pockets of it. Okay, I think I'm really happy with that. I like the way it looks so far. Very excited to see how it looks as I pull it up. So, very carefully lift. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. It's definitely a very abstract kind of a turtle, and I will be using a brush in all these areas that the stencil left behind, so that it doesn't look so much like a stencil, but I really, really like that. I'm gonna go clean off my stencil and then I'll be back. I ended up doing some brush touch-up off camera, so the turtle started like this. This is how it left the stencil after it was dry. So then I just started filling in those spaces that the stencil had left behind. I put a dark edge around the shell to make it stand out from the body, and of course a dark eye, but then I used the unbleached titanium just a little bit lighter inside those cracks to fill it in and make it look all uniform. So then it was time for me to start putting on more stencils of some other small sea creatures. So I'm starting with a little yellow seahorse, which I think turned out very cute down there near the bottom. And I did it in exactly the same way as the turtle, where you tape it down, you add the gloss gel, you add the tube paint. It makes this nice textured fish. So this one is a queen angelfish, and I started with some phthalo blue because it's sort of a blend of dark blue and purple and yellow. So I tried to add some of that color in with a palette knife and a brush. It was, I should have realized that adding yellow to dark blue would make green, so I will have to tweak this later. But I added in some purple, some yellow, just to add some texture right there to it before it was even dry. Next, I'm adding a little school of blue tang. So I'm making 3 of these, and I had to do them one by one. It was a little tricky, but again, I used phthalo blue as the main layer, and then I added some of the gray purple and blended it in just to make a little bit more interesting color, so it wasn't just solid blue. So here I am adding the 3rd one, so just one at a time. Add those in and be careful not to stick your finger into the wet stencil. I did that a couple of times and had to redo them, so don't make the same mistake that I did. But that turned out great. Now down here I'm adding another angelfish. This is a French angelfish. So I'm going to start out just with some Payne's Gray, and all of the details have to be added after it's dry with a brush. So right now it's just looks black. And then finally up here I'm adding a couple of little butterfly fish. So I'm using a metallic Pearlessence paint as the base layer, and I will add the other details when it's dry. And there we go, just cleaning up one edge with a paintbrush. Alright, let's go to the brush touch-ups. So now these stencil fish are dry, and I'm using reference photos so that I know what these fish look like, and then I'm just very carefully adding some basic details, especially on the butterfly fish. They're quite small, so you just have to give kind of the impression of detail, but don't let this intimidate you if you think, I'm not a brush painter. I'm really not doing anything complicated here. Just a few basic lines to give the impression that it's a real fish. So then on the blue tang, all I did was add eyes to them. And then down here on the French angelfish, it was a lot of yellow details. Some speckles, some lines, a face. I really love how this one comes to life, so stay tuned to see the close-up of that one. And then the queen angelfish, I added some more yellow, I brightened up the tail, I added some more purple, added an eye, just made the colors really come to life a bit more. And that's it. That is how I added the embellishments to this painting. Are you ready to see it? Let's go. So here it is, all done. Oh my goodness, guys. I just love how this turned out. So let me show you all of the little details that I added in. We'll start up here at the top. This is a little pair of 4-eye butterfly fish. They're one of my favorite underwater fish, and they often swim around in pairs, which is why I made 2 of them here. And then we've got 3 blue tang, and these, again, often they go around in schools, so you'll see groups of them at a time. And sometimes they're light blue, and sometimes they're dark blue, and sometimes they're medium blue. So I used a mix of blues and some purple in there. And then here, I think this is my favorite fish that I added. This is a French angelfish. And I like how it sort of looks like it's looking backwards at you. They actually do that in the ocean. They'll swim around and like look at you as you're following them. And then on this side, we have a queen angelfish, which are always very brightly colored, purple and yellow. And then we've got a cute little yellow seahorse down here, a nod to my reveal seahorse painting. It's yellow with a little bit of bronze and white, and it's just down there near the seagrass. Speaking of seagrass, I just used a brush to paint these little, it's very basic strokes, but 3 or 4 different colors, and you just kind of layer them up, and it makes this nice seagrass effect. And then, of course, the turtle. So, you saw me do the stencil part, and then clearly I outlined with burnt umber around the shell, and then I used the unbleached titanium and some white to fill in the other cracks to really make it look like turtle skin and turtle shell. I just think it's so cool. So cool. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy being in the ocean with corals like these and creatures like these. So let me know, what did you think? Did you like having the dive and snorkel footage alongside the painting video, or was that just a little distracting? Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure to head back to my channel and check out some of my other painting videos, and I have a new one coming Monday morning at 9 a.m. So stay tuned. See you next time, guys. Bye.